Hello everybody. So this might be a little dark, but it's late. I decided to do a video since I'm kind of sitting here contemplating. This week has been kind of rough. We took Miss Brooke to the doctor and she got her shots, and I'll go over some tips on that and how terrible that was here in a minute. But we also talked to the doctor about her formula and her how it appeared that she was lactose intolerant or had a milk protein allergy. Well, it appears really that she didn't have a milk protein allergy. So the doctor told me that she wanted her to go back on the sensitive formula versus the hyposensitive. That was really concerning for me, considering everything that I had gone through with having a fussy baby and having a baby that just seemed considerably upset, and just like all around sick on that formula. So we switched her over about a day later. So it's been over a week now that she's been on that formula, and she's got a little bit of a rash on her face, but I don't really know if it's due to the formula or if it's just her. The doctor said that she's having a flux of baby acne because her hormones are finally leveling out. I guess baby and mom's hormones level out between 10 and 12 weeks. Well, she was 10 weeks old yesterday, so I guess her hormones are most likely leveling out, and she it's most common for babies to get baby acne at that point, because it's like basically they get a rush of hormones and they become like, when teenagers get a rush of hormones, they get like acne and they get moody and everything like that. So I guess it was just normal and her face should clear up. Speaking of that, her face has cleared up. Like I said, she's got a little bit of a rash, but nothing huge, I guess you could say, like before. Now back to the shots. She got 2 injections, 1 in each thigh, and she got an oral. The oral vaccine was not bad. They just do like a swipe from this cheek to this cheek until the solution is gone. And then they do 2 injections. I believe they were to protect against whooping cough. There was one that was a combination of 3 or 4 vaccines in one to make it easier on them. And essentially it's just to get their first protection out of the way, so you feel a little safer taking your baby out in public. You really have to kind of mentally prepare yourself as a mom, especially a first-time mom. I had texted my mother and I told her I was nervous because she was getting her shots. And my mom said give her Tylenol before she goes to do it, and give her Tylenol every 6 hours for 2 days afterwards. And she said, you're going to cry and she's going to cry and you might as well get used to it. Well, let me tell you, you are going to cry and she's going to scream and you're going to feel heartbroken. So you really should have a support person there. I brought my husband. He was my support person, and I'm really glad he was there because I don't know how I could have done it alone. I had her laying on the bed, and the medical assistant came in, and I'm a medical assistant, so the first thing I said is, you have the proper needle in place, you have there's no bubbles. You know, I went through all that stuff that as a medical person you should not be in there, and I looked over everything as a pretty worried mom, and she kind of laughed at me, but I guess it's a common question. So afterwards, I basically had her focus on me. I had her relax. She was smiling, and the first injection wasn't bad. She cried a little bit, and then she was pretty much over it. The second one, though, you really need to prepare yourself for, because she will scream, or he, I should say, will scream a scream that you've never heard in your life, and they will cry and cry and cry and cry. I guess that one's a little thicker of a solution, so it hurts a little more going into their leg. Afterwards, I get Band-Aids, and by the time that she got the second one, I was crying, like uncontrollably sobbing, and the first thing I did is the minute she put the Band-Aids on, I picked her up and I put her against my chest, and I was trying to comfort her, and she was screaming. Well, my husband was dirty. He's a mechanic, so the first thing he did was take off his shirt. And took her from me so I could kind of recover myself, and she went skin to skin with him, and that seemed to help her a lot. She cried for a few minutes. I gave her a pacifier to help. I mean, if you're breastfeeding, you could stick them to the breast. I gave her a bottle right afterwards too, and that seemed to help calm her down. I really do suggest getting Tylenol, because my doctor said don't worry about Tylenol, and I went home and she was really sleepy, but that night she screamed, and she screamed like she was in pain, and she just screamed and screamed and screamed, and I finally got so frustrated, I said fuck it, and I went and got Tylenol, and pardon my language, but I gave her Tylenol, and I had to spend 20 minutes trying to figure out the dosage of Tylenol. So let me show you this right now. I got the baby Tylenol. It's grape flavored. I don't own any of this, so this is all Tylenol's product. I don't own any of this. And it tells you if your child is younger than like 20 or is under 24 pounds, you need to consult a doctor. Well, in the night, you really can't consult a doctor. And if you have a screaming child, it's really not good for them. Like, you really have no time to wait. So you can ask a pharmacist, or you can call and wait for your helpline to call back. But I asked a pharmacist, and my pharmacist told me for my daughter, she was 9 weeks old at the time, that you get a syringe like this, and it's got like up to 5 milliliters. Well, she said that for her age, she gets just about 2 milliliters. And so I marked it with my Sharpie, and that's how I would give it to her every time. If your child weighs more, you might give them a little bit more, but that's what I gave her because I knew her weight at the doctor's, and I knew her what her age was. You just have to be careful. Don't just give them Tylenol I did between 4 and 6 hours the first couple days because she was really sore. And then you want to take their Band-Aids off, and you want to really kind of gently rub their legs because their legs are going to have knots in them. And I was like worried. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hurt her. And it's going to hurt her a little bit, but it really helps them. And I saved bath night for that night for a specific reason, because I wanted to make sure she could have a warm bath to kind of help soothe her a little bit. And she took a warm bath, and I let her kind of soak, and it really helped. She slept through the night, and she's been really sleepy the past couple days. But she was really sleepy for a few days afterwards, and she was fussy the next day. And it is normal for them to run a little bit of a temperature. I just kept an eye on her temperature the whole entire time. I guess I was informed that if you have a temperature, like a thermometer, you're supposed to take a rectal temperature at this age. So means you have to put it in their butt. I know that's complicated to do, and I know infant's not going to like it. That's how you're supposed to get an accurate temperature, and it's supposed to be 100.5. So that's that. And she got better, and her colic kind of seemed to go away. But the past 2 days, she's been extremely fussy, and she's been extremely tired. She will literally put herself down for naps. And so I was super worried about her because she was also running a fever at the same time. So I kind of felt around in her mouth, and she does have a little bit of teeth buds. So I feel like she may be teething, but I also feel like she may be have a little cold. So I've just kept up with her formula, and I've kept up with her her feedings, and I'm trying to keep her up because I was up almost all night with her, not last night, but the night before, and that was really rough on me. I got to the point where I wanted to just scream. I really can't do this anymore. But Yeah. So that was this week. Just when you're going for your shots, just make sure you have Tylenol, make sure you have a support system with you physically if you are able to have that. If not, just kind of mentally, physically prepare yourself to be upset, because you will be upset and it is gonna hurt you a little bit, because he or she will scream, and it'll be an unrecognizable scream, and it'll be one you know that they're in pain, and you see their face get red, and she cried real tears, and I was just like distraught over it. So yeah, as you can see, let's see, she's sleeping. Sleepy baby. She's sleeping now. I think she's going through a growth spurt. I guess they go through a growth spurt between 10 and 12 weeks. So yeah. Next week, I don't know what I'll talk about. I guess I'll talk about whatever comes to my mind next week. Probably something that's really kind of close to my heart. I just have to work up the courage to talk about it, because I really haven't admitted to anybody, let alone myself, that I have it, but that'll probably be for next week. Until now, I have to make sure she gets ready for bed here soon. So that's all till next week. So yeah, bye.